A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a world where diplomacy often takes a backseat to military might, the upcoming summit between President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska is being watched closely by political analysts and citizens alike. The war in Ukraine has become a focal point of international tension, and many are hopeful that this summit could pave the way for renewed peace talks. However, the path to a ceasefire is fraught with challenges and uncertainties. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has seen numerous casualties and widespread devastation, leading to calls for an end to hostilities. Yet, as the world anticipates this high-stakes meeting, it is essential to recognize that the war is unlikely to conclude in a single day. Both leaders come to the table with their own agendas and demands, and the potential for a breakthrough is tempered by the realities of the situation on the ground. One of the significant hurdles in these negotiations is the behavior of Russia, which continues to act in ways that undermine any faith in a potential ceasefire. President Putin's maximalist demands could put pressure on Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky, compelling him to hold on to positions that may not be realistic given the current dynamics of the war. This tug-of-war between the two leaders could lead to a stalemate that prolongs the conflict further. Domestically, Trump faces pressure to deliver a peace agreement that does not acknowledge Russia's military gains. The political landscape in the U.S. has shifted, with figures like Senator Lindsey Graham now suggesting that land swaps may need to be considered as part of any resolution. Vice President J.D. Vance has been vocal about the administration's desire to move away from funding the Ukraine war, stating, "We're done with the funding of the Ukraine war business. We want to bring about a peaceful settlement to this thing." This rhetoric indicates a significant shift in U.S. foreign policy, as the Trump administration appears to prioritize a peaceful resolution over continued military engagement. The implications of this shift are profound. Unlike the previous administration, which provided open-ended support to Ukraine, the current administration's aid comes with an expiration date. This uncertainty could embolden Putin, who may feel he can afford to wait out Trump, believing that the U.S. will eventually withdraw its support. The stakes are high, as the potential for a direct military conflict with Russia looms large, and neither side appears willing to escalate tensions to that level. Despite these challenges, Trump has expressed a genuine desire to see an end to Russia's aggression against Ukraine. He has not completely severed ties with Ukraine, as some of his non-interventionist supporters might prefer. In fact, he has shown a willingness to provide military aid to Ukraine, consistent with his previous record during his first term. His consistent refrain of wanting to stop the killing underscores his commitment to maintaining a diplomatic role in the conflict. However, achieving a peaceful resolution will not be straightforward. The most plausible outcome may involve a framework where Russia retains some territorial gains while Ukraine maintains its military strength without NATO membership. This compromise may not satisfy either party, particularly if Putin continues to believe he can achieve more on the battlefield than through negotiations. The ongoing war has become a matter of pride for Putin, and as long as he prioritizes saving face, the prospect of a peaceful settlement will remain elusive. Trump must be prepared to walk away from negotiations if Putin is not willing to engage in good faith. The absence of other parties willing to consider Russian interests gives Trump leverage in these discussions. The U.S. must avoid a bad deal that could lead to an endless proxy war, as many political opponents of Trump will likely remind him of his previous promises to end the war swiftly. As the summit approaches, the best-case scenario may be that Trump leaves Alaska with a commitment from Putin to continue discussions rather than a comprehensive agreement. The reality is that successful diplomacy between Russia and Ukraine will take time, and both sides must be prepared for a protracted process. The White House has characterized the summit as a listening exercise, indicating an understanding that this is just the beginning of a long journey toward peace. Any progress made during this summit would be a significant achievement for Trump's administration, and the world will be watching closely to see how these discussions unfold. The hope for peace in Ukraine remains, but it is clear that the road ahead is complex and fraught with obstacles. As both leaders prepare to meet, the stakes could not be higher for the future of Ukraine and the broader geopolitical landscape. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.